This is not a common topic because most people cannot control themselves when faced with attractive things. We know that eating dinner makes you fat, but you can't stand it, so you call and order food all night. We know that smoking is dangerous to our health, but we cannot stand it. We know that sleeping late at night can cause poor health and damage brain cells, but we still cannot control ourselves until 2 or 3 o'clock every night. We all understand these reasons before making a decision. We also consider them for a while, but in the end, we still cannot control them. When you have done it, you will regret it later and think about why you couldn't control yourself at that time. What is indisputable is that we all know that it is not the right decision, and also know that doing this will make us unhappy and lead to bad results. Finally, we still cannot control our desires for a while. You must be saying, "See, not only can I not control myself, others are just like me." But did you know that there are still people who can control their desires, control themselves, sleep in the evening, get up in the morning, fast, exercise every day, quit alcohol and quit smoking? We really want to know how they do it. The author was very skeptical about this and decided to do an experiment to find out the reasons behind those decisions. The experiment took place during the 60s, more than in the 1950s, at Stanford University in the United States. He put a candy bar on the children's table in a classroom, and he said to them, "On your desk there is a candy bar. You all have 2 choices. Take a candy bar. Then eat now, but if you wait for 20 minutes, you will get 2 candies." In the face of this fascinating candy, kids have different choices. Some kids pick a candy bar and eat it right now. Some children are willing to wait a while until they get the 2 candies promised. The author then spent nearly half a century tracking the progress of both groups. The results show that children who can control themselves do not take a piece of candy on the table to eat immediately, but endure sitting and waiting to get 2 candy. When they grow up in adolescence, they pass the exam. At best, he has a good relationship and a high resistance to the obstacles that arise in his life. And by middle age, he can also control his weight without allowing him to become overweight. This means that those who can control themselves in the face of attractiveness, whether in social relationships, family happiness, or their own health, are more successful than those who cannot control themselves in the face of attractiveness. These are just a few of the results that we cite to show you all. In this experiment, the authors repeated it several times to different groups of people and also adjusted some situations by observing the activities and decisions of the children and also receiving different answers, many too. Next, we summarize the main points in this book into 2 parts. Part 1, let's take a look at why self-control is so difficult. Part 2, let's find out a little about how to train yourself to have this special ability to control yourself in the face of attractiveness. Part 2, experts say that the ability to control one's emotions in the face of attraction is like exercising to build muscle. It can be trained, but too much can be exhausting. A professor of psychology conducted an experiment by having a group of students fast for a short time before entering the classroom, and in the classroom were placed 2 kinds of snacks: chocolate cake and carrots. Some students were allowed to eat only carrots, while others were allowed to eat carrots and chocolate. Then ask both groups of students to do the same exercise. The exercises are all easy for them. The results showed that those who were allowed to eat only carrots but could not eat chocolate gave up trying to exercise faster than those who were allowed to eat anything. This means that controlling our emotions is an energy. When you spend it all on controlling your emotions, for the first thing, the second thing, or the third thing, you may not be able to control them anymore. But this energy also depends on faith and motivation. If a person has enough motivation, for example, to promise to be rewarded after completing this mission, then their self-control will become stronger and stronger. And if the person believes that he can do it, has self-confidence, likes to challenge, and can also have fun while completing the mission, his ability to control his emotions will increase to another level. However, one of the most effective ways to keep yourself from overdoing it is to do things that you regret later that ordinary people can do. No, if you are trying to lose weight when your friends call you to eat at a buffet outside, immediately refuse. Do not hesitate. Do not imagine that you just go to eat not much, eat only vegetables. Why do you have to restrain yourself twice while you deny it is over? If you want to go to bed early, do not put the phone at the head of the bed. Keep it away from your hands. There is another good way that all of you can apply. Make one choice. If you want to look at a book before going to bed, you should put the book on the headboard, but not the iPad. If you want to lose weight at work, you should put good fruits on the table, but not high-calorie snacks. We are all in a social environment that requires us to constantly choose between relaxing ourselves and striving for happiness in the future. Have you ever imagined your own life in the future? Which do you choose? Short-term happiness or long-term happiness? Finally, the author tells you a technique that when you face the temptation, we can use the principle 10 to 10 to 10 means you can try to control yourself for 10 minutes so as not to regret it later, 10 hours later, or 10 days later. If you can endure it for a long time, you will be able to get rid of it. For example, in the middle of the night at 12 o'clock, when you pull out the phone to order food, you can try to control yourself for 10 minutes. If you can control yourself for 10 minutes, then 10 hours later, you do not have to regret blaming yourself for eating too much last night. And 10 days later, you do not have to sit sad to see the fat on your waist. Also, this way, you can imagine the joy you will get in the future to compensate for your emotions now. If the above method still cannot make you control your emotions, you can try asking yourself the following 4 questions. First, do you want to be a disciplined person? There is a saying, work hard, play hard. If you work hard, do not play. If you play for fun, do not work. So ask yourself first whether you want to or not. Second, ask yourself if you want to do something easy or do the right thing. If you work hard, you want to rest. Do not hesitate to relax. The longer you ask, the more you find excuses to relax. Doing what you think is right is not easy for you. Third, what are the benefits of restraining ourselves today? As we said above, if you want to control yourself, you need to find motivation. Even preschoolers know how to discipline themselves. Procrastinating now will pay off in the long run. Fourth, ask yourself if you are deciding now because of the feeling of leading or not. We know that our decisions and our patience are different because of our emotions. Bad feelings do not last long. So before making a decision, make sure that you are in a good position, not just emotionally. The above is the main content excerpted from the book Hold the Desire. If you are interested in this book, you can find and buy it to read in full. This book has the original title in English, The Marshmallow Test: Mastering Self-Control.